So, do you think they're going to go for the same approach again?
It's the way to play against Barcelona, to be honest. Don't make them comfortable from the moment they build, because as you say, Ter Stegen needs to play very long for the first 15 minutes. When they start beating that pressure, and that's the problem of Real Madrid, not a physical thing, a mental thing. The type of players that they have, they won't allow to continue that. Then Barcelona becomes much more comfortable. They will mix one day. They will try to surprise them a little bit in the build-up, and they will try to defend deep as well and counter-attack them, because still is another way of beating Barcelona, to counter-attack.
Campions, of course, Catalan for champions. Javi, very briefly, obviously Roma beat Barcelona in the Champions League. What can Real Madrid take from that into this game? Anything that applies, do you think?
I think Real Madrid has his personality, his way of play, and I agree with Guillem. I don't think today Real Madrid will be very aggressively pressing very high. I think they wait, and it depends on the position of Gareth Bale. I want to see if he is higher or not.
OK, so the teams are on the pitch. We just heard the Barca anthem resounding around the Camp Nou. So let's hand you to your commentary team. It's a very good evening to Terry Gibson and Rob Palmer.
And buenas noches, David. Not a spare seat in the house, and as you can see, loud and proud screaming out from the stadium is champions. Well, it's the champions of Spain and the cup winners against the reigning champions of Europe. But how long will this last? This is the invincible team of Barcelona. Sergio Roberto returns in defence. Andres Iniesta plays his last ever Clásico. Philippe Coutinho plays his first ever La Liga Clásico. Well, they'll be hoping that the team are as tuned as their supporters are in wonderful voice tonight. The stadium perfectly choreographed. Very few are neutral when it comes to this particular game, but Senor Hernandez is said to be. Sergio Ramos is going to be hiding from him because Ramos has been sent off twice by the referee from Lanzarote. This is the Real Madrid team. Nacho plays a right back. Carvajal is currently injured. Isco is missing as well. The surprise inclusion, I suppose you could say, is that of Gareth Bale. And this is what Liverpool fear. They have a star-studded bench as well. Well, that's the view from above. As David mentioned, 192 different countries, an estimated 500 million people tuning in. Calmest man in the house, Ernesto Valverde. Cristiano Ronaldo against Lionel Messi. It is a game that needs no hype, but even Ronaldo and Messi are overshadowed this evening by the great Andres Iniesta. There was a film recently, wasn't the greatest show on earth? It's quite often been the greatest game on earth. Well, they say there's nothing on it this year. Try telling them that in Spain. It's a clash of ideologies, political theories, and footballing ideologies as well. The reigning champions of Europe, Real Madrid, 20 days away from going to Kiev and playing against Liverpool in the elite European competition against Barcelona, who have done the double for the 8th time. Terry Gibson said it may be a little bit nasty tonight. It's taken less than 30 seconds for our first over-the-top tackle.
Yeah, 15 seconds, Rakitic on Casemiro. A lot's been made of the fact that the Barcelona haven't already sewn up the league title. This might not be as competitive as usual. Please, it certainly will be. Real Madrid coming to Barcelona, trying to put a stop to the unbeaten run, the unbeaten record of Barcelona. And of course, Barcelona want to emphasise how dominant they have been in La Liga this season.
Well, there is quite a gap between these two teams in the standings. 15 points between third-placed Real Madrid and Barcelona, who are top of the table. They both have mid-week games as well. But this is it, how Real Madrid would love to end Barcelona's 41-game unbeaten run. There's Busquets. There's a man who needs no introduction. Flanked by Sergio Roberto. Gives you an insight into the mind of Valverde, the fact that Dembele is on the bench tonight. There were Real's second costliest player. Philippe Coutinho is out there centre field. Of course, Neymar is the costliest player. When the sides met just before Christmas, it was a rare occasion where it wasn't the costliest players on earth who were doing battle. I've worked it out tonight that it is 4 of the 6 costliest players ever. There's Dembele to Lionel Messi, who's quite simply priceless. Iniesta to Rakitic. Iniesta surveying his manner one final time. Lovely little ball looking for Jordi Alba. And Naylor comes off his line, but taking control of the situation is Nacho. Nacho's played every position in the back four this season. Gareth Bale, a surprise inclusion, but a loose pass, and Sergio Roberto is onto it very quickly.
Just looking at lineups, I was interested to see whether Coutinho would remain on the left and perhaps Iniesta play on the right, but Coutinho is the player that's occupying the right side of the midfield players. And for Real Madrid, it's back to the BBC. Ronaldo is slightly to the left, Benzema up front, Gareth Bale on the right. At this moment in time, you're never really sure what tactics, what system that Zidane is going to choose, but it's 4-3-3.
There's Messi! Suarez! He's looking sharp tonight. They combined brilliantly last weekend, and they do have this telepathic understanding.
He's excelled in the last couple of games, hasn't he, Luis Suarez? See, perfect pass from Messi, but well-timed run. When he'd been caught offside, Luis Suarez. The opening goal of the game there, early stages, Barcelona looking sharp.
Real Madrid have hardly made it out of their half in the opening 3.5 minutes of this game. They're content to sit back, to absorb. They knew this was coming. Iniesta caught by another one of the veterans, Luka Modric.
Messi here with just the perfect weight on the pass. Varane came on Navas between the two of them, managed to deny Luis Suarez.
Messi to deliver comfortably into the hands of Keylor Navas. Well, his goalkeeping seemed to gather strength in midweek after he cut off his hair. And the heroes against Bayern Munich were, well, certainly two players who have been unsung. Navas and this man, Karim Benzema. Benzema seeking Cristiano Ronaldo, his first touch of the game. Cue the boos. Ronaldo does his dance, and good rearrangement of the footwork from Ter Stegen.
Yep, definitely playing on the left, isn't he? It's been quite a while since we've seen Ronaldo occupy that position wide. It's back to the good old days for Real Madrid, isn't it? 4-3-3 with the Casemiro, Modric, Kroos midfield combination, that Benzema, Bale and Ronaldo up front. Say good old days, a season ago.
Oh, Ronaldo's. He was convinced then that he had sprung the offside trap. Next season we'll have VAR to go with his theory. He had to go with the cut of the grass.
Yeah, I think he's offside. See the assistant referee in line, it was very close.
Ronaldo loves the Nou Camp field. If only he could play here every week. His last 11 games, he's scored 11 goals at the Nou Camp. That's never going to happen, is it, Terry?
Mischievous, Rob.
Messi. Anticipated by Ramos. Marcelo quickly to Casemiro. When they met in the final game before Christmas, Zinedine Zidane experimented with his side, and it backfired spectacularly. Real Madrid were beaten at the Bernabeu by 3-0. And it is a selection, I think, that everybody would have anticipated this evening.
It was Kovacic and Casemiro in midfield, central midfield, and Toni Kroos and Modric either side. It came as a huge surprise when the 11 was announced. It clearly didn't work. Benzema, Marcelo, Kroos,
Also, of course, the great Piri for appearances in Real Madrid shirt tonight, making him the 8th all-time appearance maker. Toni Kroos. The workaholic Benzema to Marcelo. Ronaldo in his old left wing position. Still trying to score from impossible angles.
Exactly.
Rakitic to Messi. Marcelo playing the high ground. Not too many people have been in the air by Lionel Messi, and that's because little Argentinian used foul methods.
They got expelled from Real Madrid in terms of keeping possession, in terms of pressing and winning the ball back. They're doing it rather quickly now, and see Messi and Marcelo neither really fancied that aerial challenge, did they?
Ramos to Kroos. Nacho. Gareth Bale takes it in his stride. Bale helps it in. There's always a chance with Ronaldo. And PK enters his first call.
Well, you know, he's going to be enthusiastic and eager when the ball is on the opposite side of the field of play to get himself into the penalty area, to get on the end of crosses. It's predominantly been what his game has been about this season, the ultimate finisher, one-touch finisher.
Jordi Alba, who's been so outstanding for Barcelona this season. The creator of 8 goals. Andres Iniesta to Suarez. Well, in theory, it should be Barcelona who are the more energetic team after Real Madrid had to really strain themselves in the Champions League in midweek. Rakitic. Messi. Offside. Ronaldo wants. Offside. Lionel Messi wants.
Almost a brilliant pass from even Rakitic. The sky's on it as well. He's looking to his right. Whipped it in behind.
Messi. Suarez. Brilliant run here from Sergio Roberto. Now, Messi may have been offside. Roberto wasn't. Messi checks himself on. There's a spare man at the far post. And that man is Suarez. And Suarez has scored the first goal of the Clásico. Goal 30 of the season. His most special goal of the season.
Well, every aspect of this goal in terms of technical play is absolutely stunning. Movement off the ball initially, but the delivery of the passing, the timing of the runs off the ball, and eventually an immaculate finish from Luis Suarez. You can see the build-up there. Coutinho drops in, the ball in behind. Sergio Roberto continues his run. He has options. Messi's holding his run, then sprints into the penalty area, takes 2 defenders with him. Sergio Roberto is the type of player that will always see the right and the correct option. It's exactly what he does. Luis Suarez gets great contact with it, great connection. Maybe just off the shin slightly, but it's ending up in exactly the place that he wishes to put it. That's back across goal, back across Keylor Navas. Stunning goal from Barcelona.
Technically perfect. Perfect in so many ways. I was just looking down at my notes to see when the last 0-0 draw was. We don't need that one anymore. It was 2002, just in case you ever have it in a quiz.
It's 21 now without a clean sheet for Real Madrid in the Clásico. His last one was back in 2007, and to concede so early in the game. This will be a concern, of course, with the game that's coming up in a few weeks' time. Any of the players at Real Madrid that Zidane sees goes crashing to the ground, that's not too much to worry about. So, Brazilian Coutinho and his Brazilian international teammate Marcelo.
Well, Suarez, of course, scored in the first La Liga Clásico this season, but it took Barcelona 54 minutes on that occasion. And I know the Real Madrid supporters will want me to remind the culés but they won against Barca, home and away, in the Spanish Super Cup at the start of the season, which prompted Gerard Piqué to say for the first time in his Barcelona career he felt that he was in an inferior squad. It's a little bit too late to catch Suarez like that. Nacho will be the first player to be cautioned.
I think that's a consequence of 3 or 4 other challenges that have gone on in the game, isn't it? And the referee attempting now to clamp down on things. It's a challenge from behind, isn't it, from a defender that's never going to win the ball cleanly. Messi and Coutinho really beginning to form a really good understanding now.
It's the first, it won't be the last yellow card. Here is Philippe Coutinho. Oh, to the marauding Sergio Roberto did well to keep on his feet, and Suarez didn't do quite so well staying on his feet. He's got into a little off-the-ball argument with the goalkeeper, Keylor Navas. Meanwhile, play continues around the spat between the pair. It's Coutinho stopped by Marcelo. Sergio Roberto to Busquets. Busquets bringing Jordi Alba into play. A rip-roaring start to the 177th Clásico. Suarez to Iniesta. Now Messi. Roberto. Messi ever available. Rakitic.
They're sticking there at the moment, Real Madrid, haven't they, under real pressure from Barcelona, moving the ball about quickly, sharply. Look, the fresher team and sharper team at the moment, having not played in midweek.
Alba to Coutinho. Ramos always had him in his sights. Casemiro. Toni Kroos takes it brilliantly, the German, leaves Busquets behind. Benzema goes right. Ronaldo's always the first port of call. Ronaldo enters the area with intent. Toni Kroos, goalkeeper's lost it. Benzema, Ronaldo! Real Madrid back. Ronaldo inspired.
Well, I said about Real Madrid sticking in there. This is the Real Madrid way of sticking in games. To get back forward, to get on the front foot, and to get the equaliser. It's against the run of play. Ronaldo does pick up a knock. Just mentioned about Zidane, he's going to be anxious, but Ronaldo shows his enthusiasm again to get into a goal-scoring position, involved in the build-up. It's a brilliant cross again. We've seen 2 crosses of the highest order. This one from Toni Kroos to the far post. Benzema with a header. Is it going to go in? I don't think it is. I think Ronaldo has to get there ahead of Piqué to force home the equaliser.
Well, it was courage and commitment for Cristiano Ronaldo to beat Piqué in the chase. In some ways, Terry, with the league already decided, Real Madrid in the Champions League next season, the players are playing with more freedom, aren't they?
They are, and of course, once that first whistle blows in a game as competitive as this always is, both teams are going to go flat out to try and get the win. When we see the quality of attacking players on the pitch for both teams.
What did we say? 192 different countries seeing the game this evening. The most concerned country will be Portugal. Well, the human eye captured Cristiano Ronaldo off earlier in the game.
The concern is going to be this knock, isn't it? He was appealing against the offside decision, very close. I thought it was just offside, but certainly by a fraction. But the way he recovered after scoring that goal, you can see him getting to his feet, and as he walked away, he was still wincing in pain. I would be very surprised if there's any risk whatsoever. I know it's a Clásico, but of course the Champions League final does take priority for Real Madrid, and if there's any risk towards Ronaldo continuing this game, then I'm sure Zidane will replace him.
I'm sensing a surge on the red half of Merseyside, saying get him back on, see if he can pull it, tear it a little bit more.
I say replace him, try to replace him.
Yeah, he's irreplaceable.
Exactly.
23 years of age, Cristiano Ronaldo. What an incredible physique as well.
Zidane close by there, but he wasn't getting involved in the discussion with the physios and Ronaldo.
Casemiro. Well, just as a precaution, Marco Asensio is limbering up down on the touchline. Maybe one day he'll be the successor to Cristiano Ronaldo in the long term.
You see the angle from the header from Benzema. It's going across goal, isn't it? It needs finishing. I must admit, initially I thought it was going towards goal, and Ronaldo had to get there in front of Gerard Piqué. Had to get the touch, puts Madrid back on level terms. It's great to see the goals going in, isn't it? There's no hint of either team sitting back, looking to try and make things tight, keep things nice and solid. All that attack from both teams, and excellent game so far.
It's a game of modern science, but I think they're using old school. They're seeing if Cristiano Ronaldo can run it off. There is Messi. Legged up by Casemiro.
Talk about crosses and deliveries in the final third. You see Messi crowded out there by Casemiro and Marcelo, but the cross from Sergio Roberto, the cross from Toni Kroos, absolutely perfect. And so often you see players get in that position and choose the wrong option, or overhit, or hit the cross too low. Two fantastic crosses served up the opportunities for both teams to score the goal.
Iniesta. Oh, it's a fine ball from Suarez. Luka Modric. Piqué. Iniesta in his own time, still at the peak of his powers. Lionel Messi. Oh, it's a brilliant ball by Messi. Wonderful run from Jordi Alba. They are the team that try the impossible, and sometimes it comes off.
Well, how many times have we seen that, particularly this season? As soon as Messi gets turned, he knows that Jordi Alba is on the march. Jordi Alba is almost a replica of the goal that Barcelona scored. Those two players combining against Valencia earlier in the season at the Mestalla.
Low head, high boot, free kick, Barcelona. Sergio Busquets is a veteran of this fixture. He's only missed once since making his debut back in August of 2012 against Real Madrid. Sergio Roberto. Strange, isn't it? We put him on the team sheet as a right-back. He's hardly been in that berth so far. Very much a right-winger. Creator of the Barca goal.
That's the nature of a fullback though for Barcelona, is it? Dani Alves was exactly the same, wasn't it? Jordi Alba plays high up the pitch for Barcelona in the left-back position.
Acrobatics not enough from Jordi Alba.
Seem to be too perturbed about the knock that Ronaldo has picked up in the Champions League final, just 20 days away. I would be.
He'll be in the oxygen chamber as he normally is after the game tonight, won't he? Even when teammates are celebrating, Cristiano Ronaldo is working on perfecting his finely toned body. Coutinho to Busquets. Iniesta. Slow it down to walking pace, you know, they can go up a couple of gears any time they want. Real can tend to sit back to defend zonally. Now Lionel Messi, the fans get to the edge of the seats. Allah, Messi. Iniesta leaves it for Busquets, but Benzema had read the script. Kroos. Marcelo. Oh, PK only just got there. It's a little uncertain there.
It was a good shape from Real Madrid. I have to say, an improved system to what they had against Bayern Munich midweek. You can see the shape. Gareth Bale is lining up on the right side and being very disciplined in his performance so far. When they get back in position, they're holding their line, nice and compact, and when they win the ball back, they do break quickly. And are continuing to be a threat in this game, despite Barcelona having more possession. You know, it's not easy when you get those players back in position, two banks of four, and the way that Barcelona move the ball about from side to side. It's a lot of hard work for Real Madrid.
Now Real Madrid coming alive is Benzema. That's a poor pass from the former France international. Fine dash of all people, Sergio Ramos, the centre-half in the left-back position. This was the perfect cross, and is there a better execution of a volley than that?
It's also the run of Lionel Messi. You can hardly blame the two Real Madrid defenders for concentrating their efforts on a sprinting Lionel Messi running into the penalty area. It was the way he changed pace on that run into the penalty box, and he was so dynamic, drew the attention of two defenders, left the room for Luis Suarez, and as I say, the perfect cross from Sergio Roberto.
Has there been a game this season where we haven't seen Gerard Piqué hobbling? Yet he starts every game and he finishes every game. Marcelo. Gareth Bale. Back to Marcelo. Piqué had to get there. Nacho. Oh. Well, Ronaldo took the header, but I think the better placed player was behind him in Benzema.
Yeah, what's the chances of Benzema shouting "leave it" to Ronaldo? Maybe just a touch offside. The assistant referee's flag doesn't go up. Ronaldo, difficult header to control.
Just over a quarter of the game has passed. Just joining us, Suarez scored after 10 minutes, barely 4 minutes later. Cristiano Ronaldo bravely knocked one over the line. Suarez to Rakitic. Busquets. Now Messi. Casemiro. Plenty of workspace on this left-hand side for Marcelo. Benzema. Backed up by Kroos. Kroos steadies himself, but the shot was rushed.
I think Barcelona have an issue with Coutinho on the right, not tracking the run to Marcelo. Consider the way Real Madrid win the ball back quickly, sweeping it forward as quickly as possible. Great take from Toni Kroos. Involved in the build-up when they get the ball out wide to Ronaldo. There's not too many white shirts pouring forward on this occasion, just the three. And the total of that attack, Benzema with a head back across from the far post. Ronaldo gets on the end of it, had to get there before Piqué.
Modric, it's Cristiano Ronaldo. Superb save from Ter Stegen. He was awake as his defenders fell asleep. Well, that was a little fitness test for Ronaldo, one he passed. Wonderful turbocharge. The World Player of the Year. This is Marcelo. It's Cristiano Ronaldo's 449th goal for Real Madrid. It's 22nd in his last 13 games. Incredible statistics. And Terry Gibson can't sleep at night. He stays up counting goals of Messi and Ronaldo. And in a second he's going to give you a remarkable statistic, but that statistic may change here. If Ronaldo scores, but he just whisks one wide of the post.
Well, that would have been one goal 1,098 if that had gone in between. The combination between Ronaldo and Messi in the last 10 years, club and country, which is absolutely ridiculous. And two players average 50 games a year, average 50 goals a season, not just for one season, 10 seasons. Astonishing rate. So they've broken every record. They're only breaking each other's records now. We're never going to see that again. To have two players doing it at the same time in the same division is just outrageous.
Well, there is that rather dull argument, who's the best, Ronaldo or Messi, but just enjoy the fact that they're both in our era and we can all watch them at the peak of their games. Still scoring. Messi 43 goals this season. Cristiano Ronaldo, all competitions, 43 goals this season. There we go, nothing between them. End of.
But people do question, don't they, why haven't other players won the Ballon d'Or? Because these two have done it. You see Ronaldo nearly doing it again there, and you know it's a long time ago. You could compare them when Ronaldo was left wing, Messi was right wing. That was a long time ago. Messi drifted in and played as the false number 9. Now he plays in a central position. Ronaldo, in general this season, the last couple of seasons, has adapted and changed to a centre forward. But I doubt we'll see, certainly not in my lifetime, we won't see another player that comes along and gets 50 goals a year for 10 seasons consecutively, that plays that amount of games, that stays fit and healthy. In years to come, we're going to look back at these two players and realise that, you know, they owned football for a decade.
Iniesta to Messi. Any other era, Andres Iniesta would have a Ballon d'Or at home. Maybe the greatest midfield player of this recent generation. Saying that, there's a fairly decent one directing things from the Real Madrid bench. The day has turned into night. The floodlights are prominent at the Camp Nou. Philippe Coutinho just hangs it in the air.
Just lost their way slightly, haven't they, Barcelona? They seem certainly upset by the goal that they conceded. It's unsettled them in terms of the way that they're playing. Just at one stage when they got the first goal, it really did look as if they were playing so sharp that they were going to be the obvious team to get the next goal. You can see Suarez pointing exactly where he wants it. Sergio Roberto knew exactly the type of cross to deliver. The first time finish from Suarez was immaculate.
Nacho, big ask for Modric. It's a long way around MTT.
Certainly suits Real Madrid more, doesn't it, as well, when Modric and Kroos are playing closer together. If they have the holding midfielder in a 4-3-3, those two combine so well. Gets Real Madrid more possession. They can both win the ball back, do the defensive side of the game as well, but they are so important. It hurts them when they're too far apart.
A tidy challenge from Varane. And a yellow card for the France international. He's not moving too freely. Many didn't expect him to play tonight. He was an outsider to make the starting 11 as he's got a pretty nasty leg injury. Oh dear. Well, the two players you would least expect to get into a stand-up fight would be Luka Modric and Jordi Alba. That's not one you'd be getting on Sky Box Office,
We were worried, weren't we, that it wasn't going to be competitive. Well, people were worried. When you see Modric and Jordi Alba, it's a risk from Jordi Alba.
It is.
Put his hands around the throat of Modric.
If the referee had seen that, would Alba have gone?
The law is on the face, isn't it? The throat is a huge risk as well by Jordi Alba. It's a heavyweight clash, that one, isn't it?
Flyweight, Terry.
Yep.
I think the adrenaline has settled, and two of the more even-tempered players will carry on. The only time I can recall Modric ever losing his temper was in the Spanish Super Cup a couple of years ago. He sent off against Atletico. Jordi Alba. There's Marcelo. Ramos. Oh, PK enjoyed that, flying over the top of Marcelo, across the line. Ramos. Nacho. Well, Valverde was the first coach in a couple of decades to lose his first 2 games in charge of Barcelona. They were both in the Spanish Super Cup. They were both against Real Madrid at the start of the season. Many feared the worst then. Nobody would have expected them to be the invincibles in La Liga. Ronaldo. Kroos. Nacho to Modric. Marcelo. Coutinho digs in. Casemiro. Pendulum has swung the way here of Real Madrid. Barcelona's turn to sit back. They've given Benzema a surprising amount of space. Benzema to Marcelo. PK completely missed the challenge. Marcelo squirms away with it. Ronaldo crowded out. Has a strong word with Gareth Bale. Not quite sure what that was about. Jordi Alba.
Can you see how quick Real Madrid are to get back into their defensive shape? Marcelo is the player. Not surprisingly, taking his time in getting back. He's back in position now, allowing Ramos to get back alongside Varane.
Jordi Alba to Andres Iniesta. Busquets. Rakitic. Roberto. Iniesta just never seems to rush, but his thought process was too quick for Gareth Bale.
This will be a yellow card, shouldn't it, to Gareth Bale? He's not the first player, he's one of the last that's going to be deceived by that technique of Iniesta. When he takes it across his body, that first touch, he's away from Gareth Bale, and that should be a yellow card for the Real Madrid player. Going to miss seeing that take from right to left or left to right. That's why he's the player, is he can do it both ways with either foot.
Well, Navas has asked for just a one-man wall. Messi feeds it in towards Umtiti. I think the linesman was his saviour. Rich. Ronaldo's still not moving freely. He comes and takes the ball there for Luka Modric, but he's the hobbling hero at the moment, Terry.
It is something that he has to show some responsibility to as well, isn't it, with the Champions League final? But the Clásico, he has scored, wants to score again, of course, but I'm pretty sure he's experienced and sensible enough to know that he's not taking a risk.
Ronaldo. Casemiro. Marcelo playing into a wall of whistles. Nacho, Modric. Retrieved by Marcelo. If he wants to get onto his left foot, he does so. It's just a question of when. Ronaldo still rises high despite playing through the pain barrier.
Real Madrid clearly have been, in my opinion, the better team in the first half. Good start from Barcelona, but Real Madrid fought back to get the equaliser, having lots of possession. Surprisingly, they look the more settled of the two teams, and I say surprisingly because Zidane recently has chopped and changed systems. 4-3-3, 4-4-2, 4-4-2 with a diamond. But this is back to basics for Real Madrid. I think it's working. Good defensive shape. And of course they're going to be a threat with attacking play. It's Barcelona who look the more disjointed, isn't it?
I suppose in some ways the coaches are cutting off the supply. Gareth Bale has had nothing to work with yet. Likewise, Casemiro is babysitting little Messi tonight. Not always marking him, but cutting off the obvious channel to...
We can see Bale's position now. He's almost in the right back position. What he's been asked to do is to stop, which is an obvious threat at Barcelona. It's those runs of Jordi Alba. You can see he's been really vigilant in terms of keeping his eye on Jordi Alba. He's got the good starting position. They're frustrating Barcelona.
Marcelo. Sergio Roberto. Rakitic. Messi. Iniesta. Gareth Bale in the right back position, as Terry pointed out, to Luka Modric. Varane to Ramos. Toni Kroos. Benzema. Bale is supporting him. Benzema going solo. Sometimes in a striker, greed is a virtue.
Again, though, you see Real Madrid sweep up the pitch rather easily. Benzema eventually just crossing it. Half shot, half cross towards the far post. Real Madrid clearly winning that midfield area, aren't they? It's the 3 against 2. That's Busquets and Rakitic are struggling to get a foothold in the game.
Well, there is the Ronaldo heat map. Most of the work done around the centre circle. That's because his team have been defending. He was red hot though, 2 yards away from goal in the 14th minute of the game to score the equaliser. Ramos enjoyed that. Welcoming the new boy to the Clásico, Philippe Coutinho. Messi. Busquets. Suarez. Tease it for Busquets. Now to Lionel Messi. Game of patience being played by Barcelona. My eyes deceive me then. Was that a bizarrely misplaced pass from Lionel Messi? Barcelona regain their equilibrium. Messi, Suarez. Coutinho, perfect pass. Lionel Messi, perfect save from Keylor Navas. Rakitic, Navas had retreated to his line.
Eventually a hopeful attempt from Rakitic, but you see the understanding between Coutinho and Messi. Excellent goalkeeping from Keylor Navas, read the situation well, was out sharply, doesn't commit a foul. He's the only Real Madrid defender that would have caught that.
Bale. Iniesta to Ivan Rakitic. Lionel Messi. Now Coutinho. Suarez. Well, Coutinho was offside. Oh no, Suarez is involved in a set-to with Sergio Ramos. No interpretation needed.
Would have thought those two would have got it worked up at some stage during this game. All very untidy, wasn't it? The referee chose to allow the advantage. There wasn't much advantage. Suarez goes to the ground and he really takes offence with something that's either that Ramos has done or said. Suarez is accusing Ramos of throwing his arm at him.
Well, possibly the two most combustible footballers in world football ever. They both have quite a rap sheet, we know, in the UK of Luis Suarez previous. Sergio Ramos, next time he is sent off, will be his 25th. It's just a yellow card for now.
See what Ramos does, if anything. It's an arm to the chest, isn't it? And Suarez really does get worked up. Coutinho lays the ball off. Suarez then pushes the ball pass in towards Coutinho. I think Ramos certainly does everything he can, doesn't he, to try and block Luis Suarez and the run, and then tries to drag him up off the floor.
It is childish between a 30-year-old and a 32-year-old, but still entertaining at the same time. Oh, now Lionel Messi has left his autograph on the shin guard of Sergio Ramos. Do you think they're trying to wind Ramos up a little bit here, and Lionel Messi is guilty of that, or was Ramos making the most of it?
He tries the Cruyff turn, doesn't he? He tries to cut back inside Lionel Messi. I think there's slight contact, but the way that Messi went in, the way he roared across so quickly after the last incident, with the assistant referee and the referee, they're going to assume that there's a little bit more contact than they probably thought. The referee probably can't wait for the half-time whistle now to calm things down.
A Real Madrid captain trying a Cruyff turn on the Camp Nou turf, Terry.
Of course.
Not sure that's allowable. Here's Lionel Messi. Cut out by Varane. The referee has added 2 minutes to a feisty first half. Rakitic. I remember when they visited here in the Spanish Super Cup earlier in the season. Cristiano Ronaldo was controversially sent off. Second yellow card for removing his shirt, wasn't it? Here's Suarez. Rakitic. Iniesta. Casemiro governs the defence. Plays it to Ronaldo. It's a big ask for Gareth Bale. And Titi's quick as well. And he's muscular. And another sideshow.
Gareth Bale's really lucky, because that's a nasty challenge again. You can see the studs on the back of the calf. That's a terrible tackle. It's the second back tackle that Gareth Bale has made. I considered him to be lucky to avoid the yellow card for the foul on Iniesta. He can certainly be counting himself fortunate the referee hasn't booked him on that occasion. You can understand on that occasion why MTT is annoyed.
Well, if there is some kind of totting up system, the two challenges from Bale may have resulted in a card, and that may be a message that Messi is trying to get to Senor Gonzalez. Speedy to his friends. Sergio Roberto to Ter Stegen. There's another incident off the ball here, and Marcelo is down, and the referee shows a straight red. Sergio Roberto, dismissed recently against Celta de Vigo, is off again.
This is going to be interesting to see, because Sergio Roberto tries to run the ball out, then he lays the ball off, and something happened off the ball. the players have lost their heads, haven't they, in the 5 minutes or so before half-time. A number of bad challenges, a number of head-to-heads between players. You see Sergio Roberto tries to run the ball out, he lays the ball off. Marcelo bumps into him, doesn't he? Sergio Roberto throws his arm up. How much does he make contact with Marcelo? There's a slap towards the face, isn't there?
Well, it was certainly a slap from Marcelo, but that's the point that Ronaldo is making. I'm not convinced he actually caught him across the face, but we'll have more replays. There's bonus time to the first half. They have a man extra. They're hoping for a goal extra here. It's Ronaldo. The wall is expensively but very well built. It's like watching world wrestling at the moment. Well, it started as a fiery affair, and the referee, Senor Gonzalez didn't wait around when Sergio Roberto is involved in the challenge with Marcelo. Almost every single remaining Barcelona player has surrounded the referee to have a little word in his shell-like. There's another angle of it. The referee was looking straight at the incident. He was merely 15 yards away, and it's added spice to what already was a very spicy affair. Half-time at the Camp Nou. Barcelona 1,